Hey guys, welcome to my presentation for Module 9, the assignment for the presentation. These are my 5 participants. And the camera lady. Okay, we'll get started. Okay, so welcome this evening guys. My name is Michael Manager. I'll be delivering a presentation on what is healthy, so enjoy. Okay, thank you, my assistant. So the topics that we'll be discussing today are what is a healthy diet, the 7 basic nutrients, so 7 basic nutrients required for good health, the Australian Dietary Guidelines recommended daily intakes, so we'll discuss the 5 guidelines that there are. Physical activity, so the importance of physical activity in the quest for weight management as well as good nutrition. And finally, the 5 food groups. Okay, so a healthy diet. So Australian Dietary Guidelines are in place to help men and women achieve good health, both physically as well as in their body's requirements. So there are 5 guidelines which we'll touch on further as we go. Okay, so another healthy tip to go about is to consume a variety of foods from all the 5 food groups. So again, later in the slide we'll be discussing the 5 food groups, but as no single food group contains all the nutrients that our bodies need, that's why they're in place, so we can get all the nutrients as a total from all our 5 food groups. Okay, so as I mentioned, a healthy diet, so sticking with the guidelines as well as a variety of foods, should provide majority, if not all, of the nutrients to our bodies for good health. And a healthy diet also helps to improve our physical and mental health. So it keeps our weight under control, it keeps our mind healthy, it's just good for mental health, a good stress reliever, etc. And finally, prevents, well not finally, there are many other reasons, but for the slide, to prevent obesity and health conditions. So obesity is becoming a major health epidemic around Australia and the world, and the 2 main contributing factors are to do with lack of physical exercise and a poor diet. So okay, so Australian Dietary Guidelines and recommended daily intakes. So guideline 1 suggests to achieve and maintain a healthy weight, be physically active, and choose amounts of nutritious foods and drinks to meet your energy needs. So basically, to have good nutrition as well as a good fitness regime, as well as choosing the amounts of foods, which we'll go into later, to meet our body's energy requirements and energy needs, so calorie output versus calorie input. Okay, guideline 2. To enjoy a wide variety of nutritious foods from these 5 food groups every day. So not, like a high protein diet versus, low carbohydrates is going to be hard to get some of those food groups nutrition and needs from that. So, yep, guideline 3. So guideline 3, to limit the intake of foods containing saturated fats, added salt, added sugars and alcohol. So it's quite a concern, the amount of fast food restaurants, the amount of foods containing added salt, because flavour, as well as the added sugars in juices, in our soft drinks, energy drinks, and alcohol can be quite a big thing for most of society. And we'll just touch on guideline 4 and 5. Our main focus today will be guidelines 1 to 3. So guidelines 4 suggests to is to encourage, support and promote breastfeeding. And guideline 5 is to care for your food and store it safely. So, guideline 1, as we just mentioned, to achieve and maintain a healthy weight, be physically active, choose amounts of nutritious foods and drinks to meet your energy needs. So the Australian Government Department of Health lists guidelines at www.health.gov.au. These guidelines are separate from the dietary guidelines, but altogether do come under the same and are to be used in contribution with guideline 1. So the physical activity guidelines suggest, so today we've just picked out for the adults 18 to 64 years old, just to talk about. So they basically say any physical activity is better than none. So even your incidental activity like walking the stairs instead of the elevator, parking a bit further from your car, all that sort of stuff, as well as like a 20-30 minute walk. Also, to build on a regime gradually, so a lot of people may just jump straight into the gym with a personal trainer and start doing 5-6 sessions a week. So that can cause injuries, as well as not give our body enough time to adapt muscle-wise as well as cardiovascular-wise. Okay, to be active on most days, preferably all. So active doesn't mean just being in the gym having a hard session, but just to be physically active, walking your dog, playing with your children, etc. Okay, it also states to accumulate 150 to 300 minutes, which is equal to 2.5 to 5 hours of moderate intensity exercise, or 75 minutes to 150 minutes. So again, 1.25 to 2.5 hours of vigorous exercise each week. So these can be, your high intensity training exercises. And lastly, to do muscle strengthening activities on at least 2 days per week. So that's where you're going to get in the gym, do your exercises, or your body weight exercise as well without the weight. Everyone clear so far? Awesome. Okay, so benefits of regular physical activity include, but are not limited to, reduced risk of heart attack. So very important, keeps the heart strong, keeps our weight down. Next, helps to manage weight. So nutrition is majority the main ingredient, I guess, to managing weight and losing weight, but physical activity is probably about 30% of it, where nutrition is 70%. Also helps to lower blood cholesterol, blood pressure, a risk of type 2 diabetes, and even some cancers. Also, so stronger bones, muscles and joints. So very important for the elderly, as well as women are susceptible a bit more than men are for osteoporosis, which is when your bone density starts to go, basically, where your muscles start to decrease. So it's good for building up bone density, as well as I just suggested, minimise the risk of osteoporosis and falls. So more in the elderly, where they're falling over, breaking the hip, just lack of balance and flexibility and strength. So very important. Physical activity also helps us to recover better, to feel better, have more energy, believe it or not, even though you're expending energy. And lastly, better sleep. You can all do with that. Better mood and a better mind. Okay, so we just skipped through that, that's alright. The 5 food groups, there it is. So we're on to guideline 2 now. So the 5 food groups, we've got our vegetables. Everyone loves these. So your standard vegetables. So you've got your grains, which are your whole grains, your rices, your high fibre cereals, your breads, all that sort of stuff. Excuse me. We've got our protein, so our lean meats, our poultry, which is our chicken, turkey, you've got your beef, your nuts, your seeds, your fish, your eggs, all that nice stuff. Fruit, so standard bananas, apples, pears, oranges, and our dairy food group, which is all your milks, your cheeses, yogurts, and that. So basically, as we mentioned earlier, consuming foods from all the 5 food groups. So the guidelines reveal that Australians need to eat more fruit and veg, grains, cheese, yogurts, low-fat milk, water instead of sugary alternatives. And they also reveal that Australians need to eat less processed meats, so all your hams from the deli, a lot of that stuff, salamis, your sugary drinks, cordial sports drinks, alcohol, your lollies, desserts, cream and butter, fried and fatty foods, cakes, jam and honey. Okay, next slide. So, guideline 3, to limit the intake of foods containing saturated fat, added salt, sugars, as we just touched on. So, alcohol, in case you didn't know, that's what it looks like. We've got a lot of our fast foods. So I just put in a little slide, a little picture here. So the Kraft peanut butter, no added salt. A lot of them do have added salts. A lot of our foods do have added salts. So that's one way we can cut it down. And our pastries and all our fried foods. So our 7 essential